Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. I'm at Greenbuild in Atlanta, first day of the show, and I'm with George Bandy, the Chief Sustainability Officer with Mohawk. George, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
So this morning, I understand you introduced the former President of the United States, Barack Obama. Talk about that real quickly.
Yes, sir. It was exciting to share the stage with a gentleman who has such integrity and such knowledge around things related to sustainability, and to hear his position and vision as it relates to that.
You know, one of the things that's been upsetting, I think, to the green-minded people in this country has been our pull away from some of the work he had done around the Paris Climate Accord. Did he talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, he did. He spoke very eloquently around the connections of the relationships between the two and the responsibility of not just when you put things into legislation, but the organizations that support those things and what they mean to the actual people who are in those spaces, because the ultimate goal is to create a better living standard for those of us who are living in this time and create an atmosphere that's conducive for this next generation to be able to enjoy those same luxuries that we've been able to enjoy. And he laid that out, being able to think about things in a different way. It's not just about looking at recycling plastic bottles or looking at doing other things like turning off your lights, but it's a comprehensive approach to when you do these things, how do you cascade them across the masses so that it has a handprint effect rather than a footprint effect.
All right. So tell me, too, I know you got this beautiful space. As a matter of fact, you guys are, Home Depot is the title sponsor, and then Mohawk is the next level down, a major sponsor of the show. So you've got a space right in the middle of the show. Tell us a little bit about what Mohawk's talking about.
Yes, sir. So this particular show, we're looking at trying to leverage a lot of things. I think that one of the things that we've begun to embrace is that it doesn't matter how sustainable or how green your solution is. If it's ugly, designers won't specify, right? So one of the things we've done is we've begin to embrace collaborating with designers around biophilic design and using things that are already really beautiful in nature. So in this particular show, we're looking at owls and the plumage on owls' feathers to leverage that and blow it up and create a different type of symbiosis of connectivity between the biophilic design and what we put inside of our floor space, inside of the designer's eye, so they can see these different things and give them multiple shades. So we did that with lichen, of course, which was one of our best-selling products, and we're trying to continue that biophilic component. Now, in addition to that, of course, we've gone down the pathway of looking at creating living products which eliminate chemicals that are on the red list, but we're also looking at the reduction of our embodied carbon in the manufacture of our products as well. So I think that one of the things that we've begun to approach this as is that you can have peanut butter and jelly, right? Like the sandwich is good when you put all those things in it. So what we're trying to do is say to eliminate things from the red list is one component, but to also begin to reduce carbon and look at our water reduction and energy reduction and how we actually relate to these different things and these different components of delivering this manufacturing product along with beautiful design. I think that we're creating solutions that the designers love and appreciate, and that, as Barack talked about on the stage, consumers that are coming in the future will be making decisions about products that they make and how they purchase at the same time. And so we're looking for ways that we become more of a viable entity, and we're leveraging all of our brands. So you have the residential brand that's launched here. If you saw the Everstrand solutions, the plastic bottles that we turn into flooring, also Dow Tile is represented. I always tell them that they're the best environmental story. They come from God's country, dirt, turning dirt into something that we can use, right? So we're having a lot of fun with trying to put everything together and create a sustainable solution and sustainable message from Mohawk's perspective.
Let me go back and restate a couple things. You go really quick, and you're fantastic at oratory skills. So there's two things about, I guess, your message points. One is the design of the carpet itself. Yes, so it's got the pattern of the feathers of the owl, and there's different types of owls. So you've got snow owls. So you're emulating that look as a biophilic look. But then the lichen message, too, also has a green story as well, right?
Yes, sir. The lichen story was things that you see on trees. If you look on some of the owl pictures, lichen is growing on the tree branches of the actual solution that's out there, or the photos that are out there. So one of the things you can try to do, you mimic what you see in nature, but there's also some beauty in those particular designs and how you create those things. Like Jackie's team can take something that's in nature and you can see its beauty, but to transfer that from something you see out there to something that people actually use inside of a space interior-wise is a huge leap. And so Jackie's team does a really good job of looking into nature, bringing those things back, and we're collaborating with Jason McLennan on this particular solution, who we collaborated with on the lichen solution. solution as well. So he brings a lot of energy into our environment, and that collaboration has turned into some amazing solutions that we put out inside of the workplace. And we've gotten nothing but rave reviews of people walking by and designers actually wanting to understand a little bit more about that solution.
Okay, so the theme of this show this year is around a new living standard. Talk about that for a second.
That living standard means that you're raising the bar for everyone to begin to think about sustainability in a different way. And you're beginning to create conversations and listening opportunities to be able to listen to what everyone's perspective is around sustainability, because we can't do this in a bubble. You have to have more people on board. So I always look at it like this. If every person who owns a house, apartment, changed all of their bulbs out and made them LED, what kind of impact would that have? So that is a living standard that we should be creating, that type of message that gives people, where are you at? Like, if you are at a place that you only can do this, do that. So how do we get that out there? And so this living standard gives us a way to look at the people aspect, because you're always looking at materials, we're always looking at different products, we're looking at what we're doing in manufacturing, looking at what we're doing in our manufacturing facilities, our people inside of the plant. We've got to figure out, how do we have more of an impact on our residential customers, on our commercial customers, so they see us as a caveat and a company that's moving down the road of being able to influence how they do things inside of their own home. Maybe they turn the lights off a little bit earlier. Maybe they take shorter showers. Maybe they change out the shower heads. Maybe they do LED bulbs. Maybe they do some type of solution that's recyclable. But whatever that might be, the more you're able to influence that, the greater value you have to the collective group. And that's one of the things that we're excited about, is how do we influence the collective group and have more of an impact, create more handprints than footprints.
I mean, one of the reasons you know the message points is because you're actually on the board with the USGBC, right?
Well, I was a former chairman of the board for USGBC. Now I'm on the board at GBCI. Once you jump in, you don't jump out. And so I'm excited and humbled at the opportunity to serve and try to cascade the message appropriately.
But it's too bad this is audio, because you're looking great today.
Like, you can't. I'm trying to keep up, man. You know, when you're introducing the president, you got to try to look like somebody. Father used to always tell me, dress for the role you want, not the one you have.
Okay, George, thanks for spending time with our listeners. Again, been talking to George Bandy, the Chief Sustainability Officer with Mohawk, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.